Stephen A. Smith is going to be talking about the Goon Squad. Okay, I haven't heard of this until today, but I wanted to comment on this because I did a little research on the story and I saw what it was about. Truly evil. It really is. It really is truly evil. But I want to interject my take on it. All right, so I'm going to go into react to a couple of things that Stephen A. Smith says, and I want to tell you what I think about this whole entire situation. All right.
Got to turn my attention to a serious story that happened in Jackson, Mississippi this week, where 6 white police officers who called themselves the Goon Squad have been sentenced to decades in prison for torturing and abusing 2 black men named Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker. 4 of the former officers were sentenced earlier this week, while the last 2 were sentenced today. The incident.
All right. First of all, I want to say that when we make this a black and white issue instead of a good and evil issue, this is where we get off track. This is immediately, Stephen A. Smith, where we get off track. Okay. This is exactly what the enemy wants. All right. Those are the global elites. They want us to feud and fight with each other. That's how they can get their agenda done. They're keeping you distracted, making you look at someone because of their skin color is different, instead of looking at them as pure evil. All right. That's the first mistake. I just want to say that because I think a lot of times we go off on a race hustling, and we, it's easy to go that direction because we got a lot of support for that. Right. So, that's the first thing.
Happened in January of 2023 when the officers burst into the home without a warrant and assaulted Jenkins and Parker with stun guns and even a sex toy. All 6 men pleaded guilty to a total of 16 felonies.
No doubt what these men have done is absolutely disgusting, by the way. And it's foul. And it's very evil. I think people ought to understand that what we're dealing with is evil. Like, we need to call it like it is. The thing that's wrong with society right now, I see, especially with news reporting and anchors, and people just don't call things the way they are. Okay. I don't know why people stop using words like evil, because that's exactly what it is. Evil doesn't get separated by, it has no color. Evil has no color. It's just evil. It doesn't matter what color you are. All right. In my opinion, based on what the Bible's saying, these are demonic spirits. Okay. They're demonic. The sooner we realize that who we're fighting, the faster we could win. All right. We need to destroy evil, not a certain color people. And Stephen A. Smith's going to make some good points about, not speaking about all white people when we're talking about racism. And yeah, because you can't. There's no way you can do that, because this ain't a skin color issue. It's a criminal issue, an evil issue. That's what we're dealing with.
Felonies related to the torture and sexual assault of Jenkins and Parker. The former police officers admitted to breaking into the home where the men were residing without a warrant. And why did they choose to do so exactly? Because a white neighbor reported that Jenkins and Parker were staying in a home with a white woman. As a result of their federal crimes, the former officers' sentences.
Stephen A. actually thinks, and maybe it's true, but I don't, like I said, I think it's evil. It's not a skin color thing. I really don't. I just like to take skin color out of it and race out of everything, because that's when we can see the problem for what it actually is. The enemy doesn't want you to see the problem for what it actually is, so you can be distracted by something else. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're getting away with everything.
Follows. Look right here. Christian Dedman, he received 40 years. Brett McAlpin received 27 years. Hunter Elward, 20 years. Daniel Opdyke, 17 and a half years. Jeffrey Middleton, 17 and a half years. And Joshua Hartfeld received 10 years.
Which I'm glad. If these guys are guilty, then yeah, they should do time. They should be arrested. I'm not on either side, white or black. I'm on God's side. Okay, that's the side I'm on. I don't think that evil, we should tolerate any of it. All right. Black on black crime, white on black crime, black on white, white on black, black on Chinese, Chinese on white and black. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't tolerate any crime. All right. Because we live in a society where people shoot children. I don't know if I heard Stephen A. talk about any of that. Maybe I'll look back into the history to see if Stephen A. is talking about any of that black on black crime. I'm pretty sure he's mentioned it actually. But, to me, that's a bigger issue. That's a bigger problem. A child can't defend themselves against someone trying to initiate themselves into a gang. So evil is evil. We need to call it like it is. All right. These people, we're living with some evil individuals. A lot of people on some serious medications. So we're dealing with a lot of sick people. They're walking around. There used to be a bunch of. I heard Vivek Ramaswamy talking about that. The amount of mental institutions that used to be open, and available for people that are sick. Even someone using racial slurs and, they're sick. They're crazy. That there's just a bunch of nuts walking around, literally. All right. So these people need help. All right. And some of them do need to be arrested because they are evil. But as society, we've let it go too far and we've ignored the real problems. Instead, we make a race issue. So how do you know which white people are going to be racist? How do you know which black people are going to be shooting other black people? How do you know? That's the thing. The enemy doesn't want you to look at the real criminal intentions. They don't want you to look into what's really happening here from a biblical standpoint. We tolerate too much. We're in trouble because we tolerate sick individuals walking around instead of throwing them into mental institutions. And the pharmaceutical industry is complicit. Okay. What do people do? As soon as they have an issue, they run right to a doctor. And what does the doctor do? Give them a prescription. That's one of our biggest problems. All right. So you got a lot of these people on drugs. They're on legal prescription drugs. And in my opinion, I think that's a really big problem. It's a big problem. So the lobbyists are in bed with the food companies. There's a lot of things going on right now that need to be taken apart. So there's a lot of sick people out here, literally, getting prescribed medications they shouldn't have. Experimental medications. That's what we're talking about. So, and some people are just evil. They're by the way, medications this is sorcery. Okay, in the Bible, pharmakia is what it's actually called. This is sorcery. So we got a bigger issue, and the enemy doesn't want us to pay attention to it. Instead, it's being sold over the counter, like it ain't nothing. People popping pills like candies. But yet we want to look at, point the finger at, racism. And no, there's an evil problem that we have here, okay, on the planet Earth. It's evil. We need to call it like it is.
Are we still going to sit here with a straight face and act like racism doesn't exist in this country?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't sit here with a straight face and act like racism doesn't exist. Would you sit here with a straight face and say that evil doesn't exist? Yeah, because that's what it is. No, I wouldn't say that. Evil does exist. It doesn't have a color. It never had a color since the beginning. If everybody believes in God, He wrote the commandments on our hearts. We know that He's real. We know that we can't explain a lot of these things that are going on. Okay, so if we know that God is real, surely the devil is real. And he wants people to believe that he doesn't exist. Okay, devil ain't black, white, Chinese. He ain't Asian. He's evil. That's what he is. So he's able to. So if you read the scriptures, many times Yeshua had to, and I know everyone knows this, but many times Yeshua had to cast out evil spirits from people. In one particular instance, he cast out so many demons from one man. When they entered into the pigs, when he sent the spirits into the pigs killed themselves. Anybody ever thought about that? Anybody ever thought about why that happened? What does the Bible mean that he cast out the spirits from this man? Legion, the man with his name, he said, Legion. There's many spirits inside of this man. Yeshua, the one they call Jesus, cast out the evil spirits in the man. They went into some pigs, a whole herd of pigs, and the pigs drowned themselves. People saw that with their own eyes. You think those demonic spirits cared if that man was black or white or Middle Eastern? No. They obviously could have gone into some pigs. He sent the spirits into some pigs. Wrap your head around that for a minute. So if Yeshua had to cast out Jesus, the one they call Jesus, if he had to cast out some spirits from a person that went into some pigs, how did the spirits get into the man in the first place? We need to start asking these questions and open up the scriptures, because all the answers are really there, literally.
Huh, white America? Are we going to do that? See, that's not to say that everybody who is white is racist. I would never say something like that. That would be incredibly irresponsible, insensitive.
It would be incredibly stupid. Again, evil. Not white or black. These people are confused, and they're making a lot of money deceiving you. That's what they're doing. They're deceiving the masses by telling you that this is about skin color. It's about class. It's about social, economical issues. No, it's not. It's not, guys. And the sooner we realize this, that it's good and evil here, that are some people who are trying to fight to do the right things, whether they're black or white. I mean, explain that. Why are there some people out here trying to do the right thing that are white, that are black, and there are some people that are white or black that aren't trying to do the right things at all? Like, for instance, the video I just did, black on black crime. There are blacks killing other blacks and blacks killing whites, but there are whites killing blacks. And you can go down the list of all the races that are killing each other. You can go down the list. Its skin color has nothing to do with it. Racism and past history, it does have something to do with it, because it's been like this from the beginning. Man, we call ourselves Christians, right? But are we really studying the Bible? Because all the answers are there. I'm going to tell you one thing. If you're studying the scriptures, you understand this stuff. It's like God made it so a child could understand this. It's very simple. We should literally, my advice is to call it like it is. Call it pure evil. All right. Let's just take race out of it. All right. Not because of any biases I have or anything like that at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we should really look at this. All right. From a spiritual standpoint, not from a flesh standpoint. All right. The Bible is very specific about the flesh. All people walking around have flesh. This is the sinful nature. That's where it comes from. The flesh. The spirit is different. The spirit is different. Okay. So you guys can say what you want about this, but I know I'm absolutely right because the Bible's right. This is a spiritual issue. Demonic forces. Can you see the demonic forces around you? You can turn on YouTube and look at all the demonic things that are going on. Okay. A lot of crazy stuff happening. Explain how it's black, white, Chinese, Middle Eastern. It's everywhere. You would think in Israel, where Yeshua walked, who the one they call Jesus, where he actually walked in Israel, that this is the Holy Land. Well, right there in Tel Aviv, they have pride festivals. You know, and the Bible's clear about homosexuality. So it's not a black or white issue that we're facing, Stephen A. Smith. Not at all. I'm arguing that it's a biblical, spiritual issue that we have. People have gotten away from the word of God. Literally, that's what's happening. It's happened throughout time also when you read the scriptures. The Bible's the greatest history book ever written. It's the best-selling book in the world for a reason. There are more Bibles in the world that God said his word will never disappear. Never. So I want you guys to take a step back here on this racism issue, and maybe we can solve some problems. All right? Because a lot of things are being done behind the scenes, okay, because we're focused on the wrong things, quite literally. All right? That's a 30,000 foot view.
And flat out wrong, because just because you're white doesn't make you a racist. But you know something, white America? You got to stop personalizing stuff and acting like the second somebody points a finger at somebody white that they must be talking about you too. As I've said repeatedly.
Well, that's what the enemy wants you to do. He wants you to be confused. He wants you to point the finger. He wants everybody to be confused about who is he talking about? Which one? Like I said, I'm a black man in America. I shouldn't have to feel like I got to explain myself to people about who I am as a person in my heart. You know, but we have to do that because people keep bringing up race constantly, and that's not the real problem. It's just not. Racism is not the real problem. Hello, it isn't. We got an evil problem. Okay, we got a world problem. Look at the pop culture. Listen to hip hop music, and you're picking on black youth. You're picking on that. No, guys. These are demonic spirits, and the demonic spirits have been around for a long time. All right, they're going from person to person. If you're reading the scriptures, you know this. These demonic spirits can go into other people, and you know this might scare some people, but it's true. I mean, like I said, you call yourself Christians. We're a Christian nation, right? What does that mean? What is a Christian, right? So let's talk about that. What's a Christian, right? Because there's a lot of stuff there too that we need to unpack. I call myself a follower of God, a follower of Yeshua, his son who he sent, that everybody calls Jesus, right? What are we getting at? Because the Bible tells us it all. And again, I don't care if people are tired of hearing about the Bible. When you start to read it and you start to understand and put two and two together, you realize that all these petty arguments, they don't mean a lot at all. And we're not talking about the right things. That there's demonic forces that are attacking everything from our food, our water, our land, everything. And it's all biblical. It's all laid out in the Bible. Like it's already happened many times already. That's what I mean when I say that. It's been going on for a very long time already. So we have an example to look at, but we're just not looking at it. We're looking at something else that has nothing to do with the actual problem. God lays it out clear, very clear, right? Deuteronomy. I was reading Deuteronomy today, and I'm studying the book of Deuteronomy, and I think it's Deuteronomy 18. God's telling us that he's going to send prophets before the prophets are born. He said he's going to send prophets to tell us everything that's going to happen. And he says the way that you're going to know that these are real prophets is that these things will actually happen. Wrap your head around that for a second. God tells us everything that's going to happen way before it happens. Way before it happens. And he said, you're going to know that it's real because it's going to happen just like I said it's going to happen. That's the power of the scripture. So we better, somebody that can do that, put this stuff in a book and it's happening right before our eyes still to this day. You should be reading that book. We read a lot of books in society. People got so many books. You should have YouTube channels. Got books back there, all the books they read. I go in people's houses sometimes. I do business with them. I see all sorts of books. I don't see any Bibles. If I do see a Bible, it's got dust all over it. They don't read it. All of it's there. Everything's there. There's going to be no excuse. So, when I hear stuff about racism and, this person, it's a black or white issue and it's systemic. Yeah, it's systemic, but it ain't racism. It's in the system. But the enemy wants you to believe that it's got something to do with your skin color. That's total deception. Absolute deception. Ain't got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with evil. I did a video maybe a couple weeks back about the shooters that went into that hall. I think it was a music hall in Moscow, right? And I was telling you guys that my wife's family was actually supposed to be there at the music hall because they're performers. I think the whole family, her cousin and the husband, they both are performers at the hall. They were supposed to be there. But the shooters that went into this place and started shooting, they were like Ukrainian. Okay? And they just went in and started shooting anybody. It's a good and evil thing, man. We have evil people here, sick people. They're sick in the head. They're demonic. Okay? So again, pharmakia, sorcery, this is all witchcraft. People are popping medication and taking medications, and they don't realize that they're involved in sorcery. Pharmakia, pharmaceutical. All right, it's all biblical. It's all there. Guys, this is wisdom that I got from reading the scriptures. Anybody could figure this out. If you read it and you want to follow God, you would figure it out when you read it. You'll see it all makes sense. God will start showing you things that the average person just literally doesn't have a clue about. But you'd have to be into the scriptures. You have to be understanding, and there's a lot of YouTubers out there that they know what they see all the things that are happening and they're fighting for the right cause. But ultimately, it's a good and evil battle that we're in. We're literally in a spiritual warfare. Some people understand that. Some people literally understand that, and you can tell who's reading the scriptures and you can tell who's just calling themselves a Christian. Right? I'm sorry. I love you all. You're not against me. You're not against Yeshua. So you're with us. He said that. So I'm not against anyone. I know how busy people can be. I know how busy they can get. And they don't study because I was like that. I didn't study the Bible. I didn't, my mom, they raised us on the Bible. They raised us to serve God. And, like I said, I had a Bible since I was 16, but I didn't really start studying it literally until I was like 40. Okay. And then even still, I was just like, I wasn't really into it. So it takes some time. It's for most people, it takes some time. But if you're a reader, man, like I said, I listen to the Bible. I don't always just open it up and read the actual book. I found out that I'm better at listening than actually reading. I get more out of something when I'm listening to it. I think a lot of people are that way. So you have to understand that your learning habits also. But anyway, I digress.
Over the years on national television, if it ain't you, if you don't think like that, you wouldn't act like that, you wouldn't talk like that, you wouldn't treat somebody of a different ethnicity than you like that, we're not talking about you. But when you stand up and act as if America doesn't really have these problems, that they don't have a plethora of people who feel this way, who think this way, and if empowered would act this way, you've got your head in the sand. And if you stand...
Now, I think Stephen A. Smith's got his head in the sand, really. All right, for not calling this out like a godly man is supposed to. We're fighting demons here. It's no way to get people to understand this other than to look at it for what it really is. Until we do that, until we started... And a part of that is looking at the things that are going on in inner cities. When we can call that out more, we can find out that this is we got an evil problem. It's not just in the white neighborhoods, the black neighborhoods. It's all over the place. It's everywhere. Go in any country, they got a hood. All right, there's shooters everywhere and people doing horrible things all over the country, all over the world. So the sooner we can look at it for what it really is, the better off we'll be as a community, as a world community, seriously. Because there's some people at the top that are orchestrating a lot of crazy things like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates. In my opinion, Bill Gates. Some people think he's a philanthropist. I don't. And he's doing a lot of crazy things, man. He's doing a lot of crazy, weird things, in my opinion. All right. And, George Soros, these people are atheists. Okay. That's what we're dealing with. People that don't believe in God. But yet everybody knows that God is real. But they're pretending that he's not real. And they're doing things to cause division. All right, divide and conquer. That's what's happening. And until we grow up and until we say, enough is enough, and we need to start looking at the real enemy and pointing the finger at the real enemy, then we're going to be screwed. We're going to keep coming back to the same stuff over and over and over and over and over, going to war with each other. You don't know who's your friend. We can't have unity because people think you think this person is racist. You think you don't know who it is. How are you supposed to figure that out? Huh? To look at things for what they really are is actually even more simple. Good and evil. Two sides. That's it. You're either a villain or a hero. Like, you can't be both. And I don't want to confuse a villain with a hero. I don't want to confuse a hero with a villain. Let's call it like it is. Let's just call it like it is. Don't be afraid. All right. I don't care. Look, my family's thinking I'm crazy. They told me I talk about God too much. That's why I'm talking to you guys. I want an audience who actually want to hear me talk about God. They told me that, that's why people don't mess with me, because I talk about God a lot. Somebody told me that in my family. My mom actually said that. She's okay with hearing it, but she said, your brother and them, they don't want to hear that stuff all the time. You got to understand that, she said. So I'm like, okay, I won't talk to anybody. I'll talk to YouTube. How about that? That's who I'll talk to, the people that actually want to hear it, because there's great wisdom in the scriptures when you study them. And I don't care who goes against me. I'm with God. I'm on his side.
Stand around and do nothing and you say nothing, then automatically you're going to be assumed as being complicit in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Isn't that convenient?
It is the year 2024. This incident happened in 2023.
Again, it's very convenient to point the finger at someone who looks different than you. God made us all in variety. There's different kind of flowers, different kind of trees. There's so many different kind of animals. Everything's different. What does the enemy do? He uses that against you. Oh, because you look different. That's what the enemy tells people. Because you look different, they don't like you. So because I look different, and God said in his all his creativity, he wanted to make a variety, like flavors. Look what they did with the rainbow. Took that and just used it for something totally different. God is a God of variety. He's a creator. He created all creation. What would the enemy want to do? What would the enemy want to do? He would want to turn all creation against each other. That way you just eat each other. That way you can point the finger at another person and say, even though you bleed just like me, even though you are human just like me, that somehow you don't like me. There's a group of evil people here. Okay, they're in all different colors, races, sizes, sexes. They're in all shapes and sizes. Okay, they're evil. They're not good people. God's people are with God. The devil's people are with the devil. It's that simple. Literally that simple. All right. So start looking into the black communities a little bit harder. Okay, because there's a lot of corruption and we can start there and clean that up. All right, so we need to start looking at we call ourselves black people. So we need to start looking into the black communities and finding out what's going on there first. All right, because if we're going off of looks here, and the black people need to straighten out the black people and the white people need to straighten out the white people. Okay, all right, how about let's just look at our communities first. Let's focus our attention on our communities. How about that? Can we do that? Can we do that for just a little while? I mean, if we focused on our own communities for 5-10 years, imagine the change that we could make. If we cleaned up our streets, how about let's work on that for 5 years. Forget about the white people, forget about the Asians, forget about the Arabs, forget about the Africans. Let's forget about all that. Let's focus on the United States of America and the inner cities. Chicago, Baltimore. And we got a couple of places we can work on. All right. Maybe, just maybe, if we can get the crime rates down, if we can stop people from shooting children, if we could work on those things, maybe we could get somewhere. Maybe God will start to send miracles again. But it looks like we don't even care. That's the problem. And these celebrities with these large platforms, they don't want to talk about it. Oh, freedom of speech is so important, guys. It really is. We can't fix any of these problems unless we're able to talk about it. We got to be able to talk about it first. That's the first step. Please, let's talk about it. At least talk about it. Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith. At least Candace Owens is talking about it. People demonize Candace Owens for talking about it, for saying stuff that makes sense. What'd they do that at? It doesn't make any sense. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. It's been great. This has been Yup, I Said It. And like, share, and subscribe to my channel. But until next time, thank you.